Alright guys, so this is a review for the inscribed angle portion of the test. And basically let's recap a little bit. When you have a circle and you have an angle, right? A central angle means it is cut to the center. So it's called a central angle. And that means that the degree right here from these two lines, like how far are they opened? So if I told you that number was 20 degrees, then it means that the arc all the way on the outside over here would actually be exactly the same. It'd be 20 degrees, they'd be the same. And this only happens because it was to the center of the circle. Now we're gonna review inscribed angles. So that means that now our angle goes from to the back. So now it is not to the center of the circle. You can tell that those 3 points are on the circle. This is on the circle, on the circle, and on the circle. So now the arc is not the same answer as the angle back here. How big is the space between these two lines back here? It is not the same. So if the arc is till 20 degrees, then that means that the angle in the back is actually half. It'd only be 10 degrees. So really they're just half. So if you know the number on the outside, you want to divide it by 2 and it'll tell you 10. But if you know 10 and you want to know the outside arc, you'd multiply it by 2, right? So that's essentially what you're doing. So if we come back here, we have this angle JKL and it's 88 degrees. So that means that's how much the space is from this line to this line. And then they're asking us JML. Okay, so then you would just multiply by 2. And whatever you get, that would be your answer. 88 times 2, 176 degrees. So that's kind of how it works. There are different notations. For the green one, it's called angle JKL. And then for the red one, it's JML arc. So notice the difference. This one has an angle and this one has an arc. All right, here we have an arc, AC. We know that the answer is 34. So if I want to know the angle back here, this space right here, I would have to divide it by 2, and we should get 17. Now the name back here is called angle, and it's ABC because it comes from A, it goes into B, and it comes to C. All right, so that's that part. Okay, here, it kind of just gets trickier the more you go, but same thing. If you know that this is 86 degrees, and you know this is 156 degrees, well, to get the angle WX and Y, that means it belongs to the arc WY. These two pieces belong together, right? And the way that you're going to do that is first, you're going to think about a circle. So we're going to ignore the inside. How much is a whole circle? It's 360. So then you're going to take 360 and you're going to subtract 86, the red arc. You're going to subtract 156, and whatever you get belongs here on the outside of the blue arc. And we get 118. Now this number gets divided by 2 and it gets pushed into that angle. And we would get 59 degrees. And that would be the answer to what they were looking for. Angle WXY. Okay, same thing for like the other ones. So that's one you can try. They wanted you to find RS, so really they're looking for this answer. Well, the only way you can do that is you know the angle. This angle gives you this arc by doubling it. So you multiply by 2, so we get 84. And then now if I want to know the green arc, right, RS, then I think about how much is a whole circle, 360. So I subtract the other two numbers that I know, and then that would give me the answer to this green piece. Okay, when it comes to solving for X, the angle that I see, I only see one angle. It's C, D, and E. That's the only angle I see, C, D, and E. Okay, and they're telling me that back here in this angle part is an equation, 8x minus 9. Now, that angle is important because it's creating the arc from C to E. So these two are connected in a way. How are they connected? Because you can divide this number by 2 to see what number belongs into that arc. And we get 79. Now, because this piece is 79 degrees, and it's also the equation, right? In this corner right here, we have 79 and the equation, because the equation has an arrow pointing to the same spot. Then it means those are equal. You would have 8x minus 9 equals 79. And that's what you are solving for x. You add 9 to both sides. And then you divide by 8. X equals 11. And there you go. Okay, similar thing for number 8. I only see one angle in here. L, M, and N. Or you could start from N, go to M, and go to L. That's also correct. It is wrong to start at M. We do not start at M. You never start at the point where they meet. So you can say L, M, N, and that's fine. Or N, M, L, same thing. Okay, that's the only angle I see, and they were telling me that back here it's 67 degrees. Well, that's important because if I double it, it would tell me the outside arc. So 67 times 2 would be 134. And this arc right here also belongs to the equation. So because they're both in the same spot, those are the ones that are equal. 4x plus 58 equals 134. And then you just solve. So we subtract 58 to both sides. We get 4x equals 134 minus 58, which is 76. And at the end, divide by 4. X equals 19. Done. Okay, so that's kind of a review of it. For number 9 is very different because they only give you an equation, right? They only give you an equation and it's pointing to this corner. Well, it is important because that means that it is talking about an angle W, X, and Y. Okay, that's the angle that they're talking about. And it's important because it's coming from the arc from W all the way to Y. And you guys should know how many degrees that is because it's half a circle. Well, a whole circle is 360. So if you cut it in half, you get 180. So it means that this part is 180 degrees. Now, if I make it smaller and cut it in half, it would go into X. Half of 180 is 90. This is not a 90-degree angle. And those are the two pieces that are equal to one another. So I'm not going to solve it, but at least I helped you set it up. Okay, number 10. There's multiple ways that you can solve it. But for me, the easiest way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to think about how many degrees are in a triangle. We learned this since October. And we remember that if we add up the 3 corners of a triangle, this one, and this one, it should make 180. So we know this side is 114. We know this side is the equation, which is fine. So we're just going to use the equation. Now, what is this missing side over here by Y, this angle Y? Well, it's coming from the outside arc. It's coming from XW because Y is X, Y, W. So if I divide this number by 2, I can push it into that corner. 78 divided by 2, and we get 39. So now, again, I'm going to add up the whole triangle. I'm going to add up every corner of the triangle and make it equal to 180. So 114 plus 39 plus the equation, so it's all 3 corners. This one, and this one, and it makes 180. It equals 180. And then you just solve from there. So that's what you would be solving to get X alone. I would probably add together the constants. So those are all just regular numbers, 114 plus 39 plus 6, and we get 159. So 7x, I drop 159, and then it equals 180. So from here, you just have to subtract that number, 159, and then divide by 7, and you should be good. Really, that's kind of how they work. This is probably the last one that I'll do. All right, so the only angle I see is A, B, and C. And that's an important angle because it's coming from the arc AC. So if I know this degree, that's important. So that's what I'm going to find. And I should be able to find it because I know that the whole circle's 360. So a whole circle's 360. I'm going to take away 92. I'm going to take away this arc. I'm going to take away 162. And then that leaves me with the AC that I needed. So 360 minus 92 minus 162, and it leaves us with 106. So we have 106 degrees for the arc. It means if I take this number and divide it by 2, it can go into the angle. And we get 53. And because 53 is in this corner and the equation's in the same corner, then those are the ones that are equal. Okay, so you would put an equal sign for that. 7x minus 10 equals 53. And then all you have to do is add 10 and divide by 7. All right, so 2 more. Now for these that turn into, they're like expressions equal to one another, just follow along. F, J, and H. So angle F, J, and H. Again, if it has this symbol angle, it means you're going on the line. So F, G, I don't know what I was saying. Maybe I said J and H. Okay, angle F, G, and H. It is not the arc, so you're not going to go around the edge. That would be wrong. Okay, you don't do that. You go on the lines. F, G, and H. So that means 6x plus 21 goes into that corner. Now this one, you do go on the circle because it has this arch on the letters. So F, J, and H. This is 17x minus 28. Now these two are similar to each other. They're not equal. That's wrong. They're not the same answer, but they're similar because they're double. They're what we've been learning. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the small one and multiply it by 2. Okay, you got to multiply the 6 and the 21 by 2. Both of them get multiplied by 2. So it turns into 12x and 42. And then we get 17x minus 28. So when you multiply by 2, you can make it equal to the outside now. And then from there, you're just going to solve. Okay, where is x? Well, we have 2 x's, the 12 and the 17. The easiest thing is to subtract the small one. So we're going to subtract 12x. 42 goes down. 17 minus 12 is 5x. And bring down the negative 28. Now the 28 gets moved back. Okay, what side is x on? Now x is on the right. So that means you need to move the 28. We're going to add 28 to both sides. We get 70. And at the end, divide by 5. And then the problem's done. And we get 14. But that's really how they work. Actually, I think the last part here is make sure you pay attention to the question because I almost skipped over it. They did say find the arc FJH, which is this one. So you need to take your answer and plug it back in to that one. So 17 times 14 minus 28. Last one. Angle. Angle means go on the line. So it'd be STU. You should be writing it in the corner of the 2 lines, like between the 2 lines. The second one is an arc, SU, has this curve on it. So that means it's on the edge of the circle, SU. So we have 12x minus 50. Okay, which one do we normally multiply by 2? We normally multiply by 2 the one inside, because if this part is, if the arc is 50, that means this small space is 25. So you got to multiply by 2 the inside angle. This is the one that gets multiplied by 2 so that it can equal the outside one. All right, so we're going to multiply again the equation 5x minus 16 by 2. The 5 times 2 makes 10x, 16 times 2 makes negative 32, and now it can equal 12x minus 50. And again, you're just going to solve the same way. First, start by subtracting the smaller x, 10 or 12. 10 is smaller. It solves it a lot faster and easier. I bring down the negative 32. And then we get 2x, because 12 minus 10 is 2x minus 50. Okay, think about what side is x on. Now x is on the right. That means the 50 has to go back to the left. Add 50. I think this is 18. Okay, negative 32 plus 50 is 18. And then at the end, you divide by 2, and we should get x equals 9. Okay, they did ask you one more time to find the angle, so you would be plugging it into this equation. And then that's it.